All right, let's talk about a name that's basically synonymous with Bollywood. Akshay Kumar. But this isn't your typical stardom story. No, we're going to dig into the actual blueprint he built. A plan based on pure grit, insane discipline, and honestly, some wild twists of fate.
Just to get a sense of how massive this journey is, just look at this. On one hand, you have a young guy waiting tables in Bangkok, literally just trying to get by. And on the other, the only Indian actor to make it onto Forbes' list of the world's highest paid. So the big question is, how on earth do you get from there to here? That's what we're going to unpack.
And this quote from Akshay himself, it just says it all, doesn't it? Back in the day, he wasn't thinking about becoming an A-lister or some huge star. It was way more basic than that. It was about survival. For him, B-grade films didn't mean bad, they meant bread and butter. It was about getting a paycheck. And that mindset, right there, is the foundation for absolutely everything he built.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at his incredible hustle to even get a foot in the door. Then, we'll see how he built a whole business empire outside of movies. After that, we'll crack the Kumar code, his famous discipline. We'll also get into the tricky politics of stardom. And finally, we'll boil it all down to his simple, powerful blueprint for success.
All right, let's kick things off with the hustle. And let me tell you, this is not one of those stories about privilege or having family connections in the industry. Not at all. This story starts somewhere so humble, it's almost hard to believe, looking at where he is now.
Okay, just let this sink in for a second. His name was Rajiv Bhatia, and he grew up in Delhi, in a single room, with 24 other family members. Can you imagine? He's even said he had to literally jump over sleeping people just to get outside for his morning exercises. But the most incredible part? He says that not a single day went by when they didn't laugh or smile. Even with almost nothing, they had joy.
You know, it was his love for martial arts that finally got him out of that room. His dad actually borrowed money just to get him a plane ticket to Bangkok. And there, he trained in Thai boxing while working as a chef, as a waiter, whatever he could do to survive. And it wasn't a straight line to success. He did odd jobs in Dhaka, worked at a travel agency in Kolkata, and then eventually made his way back to Mumbai to teach martial arts. Every single one of those stops was a total grind, with no clear endgame in sight.
And then comes the twist. A single mistake that changed everything. And the irony here is just perfect. For a guy who's now famous for being incredibly punctual, he mixed up 6 a.m. with 6 p.m. for a flight to a modeling gig. He missed it. So he's feeling totally down, probably thinking it's all over, and he just wanders into a film studio with his portfolio. And that same day, the very same day, a producer spots him, gives him a check, and signs him for his first movie. Just like that, his biggest mistake turned into his biggest breakthrough.
So getting into Bollywood was a huge step, but Akshay Kumar was just getting started. He saw his fame not as the destination, but as a launch pad to become a serious entrepreneur.
And this number really tells the story. 7. That's how many major side businesses he's got going, not even counting his acting or endorsements. See, he's not just an actor playing a role. He is actively building a real-world empire.
And his business portfolio is really interesting because it's so diverse, and it really reflects who he is. He's got his own film production company, named after his father, which is a really nice touch. He's an investor in a big healthcare tech platform. He owns a kabaddi team, which is all about supporting a sport from his home country. And of course, going back to his roots, he started a center that gives free self-defense classes to women. It's business with a purpose.
Okay, but let's be real. None of this, the acting career, the business empire, none of it happens without the one thing he is absolutely legendary for, his discipline. We're talking about an almost mythical level of self-control. And it's not just about fitness for a movie role. It's a philosophy that runs his entire life.
And his fitness code is so simple, it's almost radical. It's kind of anti-gym culture, really. For starters, he fasts completely every single Monday. He's also done with dinner by 6:30 p.m. every single night. No exceptions. And you won't find him lifting heavy weights. He's all about natural movement. Rock climbing, bodyweight stuff. He even calls a traditional gym a place for monkeys. So what's the logic behind that 6:30 dinner rule? Well, it's actually super simple. He thinks that our stomach needs to rest, just like our arms and legs do when we sleep. If you eat late, you're forcing it to work all night long. He's a huge believer that most health problems start in the gut, so this one simple habit is his #1 line of defense.
Now, of course, a career that spans decades and reaches these kinds of heights, it's never a smooth ride. So let's get into the tougher side of things, the complicated politics of being a superstar and the kind of scrutiny that comes with it.
And nothing shows you how fickle the industry can be better than this right here. When his movies were blockbusters, people praised his work ethic. The narrative was, oh, he's so efficient, he comes on time, he leaves on time. But when he had a string of films that didn't do well, that exact same behavior was used against him. Suddenly the story became, well, he doesn't devote enough time to his movies. It's a masterclass in how much the narrative is tied to box office numbers.
And he's been surprisingly honest about how cutthroat Bollywood can be. He said it himself. People love seeing when my films don't work. He admits that there are people in the industry who are genuinely happy to see him fail. That's a pretty raw admission about what goes on behind all the glitz and glamour.
And it wasn't just professional rivalries. His personal life has been under a microscope too. Over the years, there have been headlines and reports about everything from industry fights to alleged marital infidelity. It all just adds another layer of pressure that comes with being in the public eye.
So, okay, we've talked about the struggle, the success, the businesses, the controversies. After all of that, what's the takeaway? What's the secret sauce? We've finally reached the blueprint, the two core ideas that he says are responsible for his entire journey. And you know what? It all comes down to two deceptively simple things. Keep working hard and respect your parents. That's it. He truly believes that if you just stick to those two rules, you can handle pretty much anything. And for him, this isn't some cheesy motivational poster quote. This is the actual operating system that took a kid from a one-room home in Delhi and turned him into a global superstar.
Which leaves us with one final question to think about. We've seen the incredible hustle, the ironclad discipline, the immense wealth, and the harsh scrutiny. But when you think about that young boy, Rajiv Bhatia, sleeping on the floor of a crowded room, what is the real price you pay to become a global icon?